say I would play the role of Bunny very well in
From?
YJHD, Ye Jawani Hai
I knew
Diwani.
it was coming somewhere.
It's just the Ranbir Kapoor. However, Instagram is, I think, an unsaid, very big dating app in itself. Yeah, because you see people you idealize do it, so you're like, if they are doing it, तो मैं तो कर ही सकता हूँ. Wanted to be a football player. I played in a lot of different countries: Spain, Portugal, Austria, Hungary, France, and last in Germany. But if I was in a room with an introverted guy, then probably after 24 hours he would also become an extrovert. That would be my aim. I think all kinds of cheating is evil. Nobody should. That's why I feel like even open relationships are crazy, because I don't know how you can be okay with the fact that your partner is with sleeping with someone else and you're sleeping with someone else when you have a partner. I just can't stand with that. I believe in old school kind of love.
अलग अलग काम करते हुए कई लोग एक्टिंग इंडस्ट्री में आ जाते हैं और कई लोग तो इवेंट्स कर चुके होते हैं, कई थिएटर करके आते हैं, कई तो अचानक से किसी न किसी इन्फ्लुएंस में आ जाते हैं. इन्फ्लुएंस के पे याद आ रहा है, आज के हमारे गेस्ट हैं जो बहुत ही इन्फ्लुएंसर रहे हैं और अपने दम पर उन्होंने काफ़ी सारी स्किट्स बनाई हैं. इन्फ्लुएंसर भी हैं, लेकिन अब भी उनको एक्टिंग का कीड़ा काटा हुआ है और एक्टिंग के मैदान पे चलने को तैयार हैं. चलिए मिलते हैं वीर गिदवानी के साथ. ऋतु आपको उनकी ज़िंदगी के सफ़र में ले चलेगी. ऑल द बेस्ट.
हेलो दोस्तों, आज हमारे पॉडकास्ट पर आए हैं एक ऐसे सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर जो कि एक्टिंग की दुनिया में अपना नाम बनाना चाहते हैं. स्वागत करते हैं वीर गिदवानी का हमसे बातचीत में. मैं हूँ आपकी होस्ट और दोस्त ऋतु. Hi Veer, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. So what's happening?
Graduated from college a week ago and I'm just delving into the field of acting. I was creating a lot of content on social media for 5 years since COVID-19 started, because there was nothing else to do and it was actually quite fun. But now I'm more interested in real life acting. I've done some film, like one film, I've done ads, and it's just getting me started into this upward spiral into acting, as I like to call it.
So what did you learn in social media in those 5 years?
At all times you have to stay authentic, but you also have to keep in mind that at the end of the day you are serving to an audience and you have to create what they like at the end of the day. A director or producer can't create a movie just based on what they like. You have to keep in mind that it's the audience that's gonna get in the money, get in the business, so that you can continue making more movies. And in that case it was videos for me with content creation. So I think that's the most important thing that I have learned.
So what kind of content do you like to create on Instagram?
Even on TikTok, on Instagram, always created comedy humor, day-to-day sense of humor, the things that people see but don't, keep in mind, and just humorous things. I just like to make people laugh, like to make them smile, and yeah.
So did this technically happen around also COVID, that you thought of like
Literally.
making people laugh, and also it somewhere affected everyone's mental state of mind, at that time?
Definitely. In school and college, I was always somebody who was very talkative in class. I was kind of an extrovert and I had a lot of friends. So when it was locked down and I was like, I'm trapped in my room, what do I do? So I was really bored. I thought, how else do I connect with people, and what better than humor, because I love stand-up comedies. I love anything that makes me laugh. So if I have the opportunity to make other people laugh, then why not? Kyun nahi?
So you're from Mumbai,
I'm from Mumbai, born and brought up, yes.
and where do you stay?
In Prabhadevi.
So like the towny kind of a thing, do you get to hear that a lot?
Yeah, especially when I went to NMIMS for my college, and that is not in town. So then a lot of people would call me townie and all of that, but it doesn't
Does that
bother me.
affect you somewhere? Like why? Why would
No,
you say that?
I think by God's grace, I'm privileged enough to stay in a good house with great parents, and I don't think so there's anything to be embarrassed about that.
It's like a vibe or like a personality that people get like very overwhelmed with. Ki, oh my god, I can't like. For example, do you have people who stay on the other end of like Mumbai?
Definitely, I have my nanny's house, which is in Chembur. So there's nothing more I love more than staying at my nanny's house, because it's just luxury over there. I'm very close to my family. So it's not like I'm attached to South Bombay or anything. And I won't lie, there are a lot of South Bombay people that act a certain way. So I understand the stereotype.
Yeah, basically.
But you have to understand that not everybody is like that. Not everybody is judgmental. Not everybody is corny. So yeah.
But do you also feel it's difficult for them to be friends with you in terms of maintaining that lifestyle or getting used to that lifestyle? Maybe they cannot afford it at that moment, or it's difficult for them to approach you in that aspect.
Well, I don't think so. I feel like I'm very humble as a person. I don't take any of my privileges very seriously because if God has given them to me, He could take them away from me any second. So I remember to stay humble at all times. And it's not like of course, I'm very privileged, but I would never make somebody who's not as privileged. I would never make them feel like, you're less privileged than me. That's the last thing I would want to do to anybody in this world.
So talking about your movie, how was the experience on set of LSD, of course, too, right?
LSD too, yeah. It was a small role, but getting to meet Diwakar Banerjee sir, he was an extremely humble man. He gave me a lot of insight on how to grow in my acting career. So I think that was the main take, just getting time with the director alone. And in fact, when I was shooting the scene for the film, he was on the dining table with us. He was recording. He was telling me what to say. So it was just overall, and I met really nice people on set. That's very important, it's a positive environment. Everybody likes you. So I enjoyed that.
Did you meet Urfi?
No, I did not meet her.
You did not
I'm
meet.
okay with missing
Maybe
out
she
on
could
that.
give like more of course you're very fashionable, but any styling tips from her you might have thought of?
Well, she has her own style. I have my mother who's a fashion designer, so she helps me out.
So any thought process you had while shooting for LSD, because that was also a role of a social media influencer. So how much did it help you while prepping up for the role and all?
While prepping, Diwakar Banerjee sir had asked, what kind of a person are you? What kind of a social media creator are you? And depending on what my answer to him was, I said that I like to say controversial things that everybody is thinking, but nobody really has the guts to say. So while I was on set, I had that mindset, I am a controversial guy, and I got in that character and delivered my dialogues as I had to, as a controversial person.
So what was your last most viral video that you were like, oh, I didn't even expect this is going to go viral, or maybe like it generated a lot of views? Anything that you remember of it?
For the past 2-3 months, I've been very much into acting and ads and auditions, all of that. So I've not been posting that much on Instagram. But I think I made a video on, there are a lot of people that they don't have strict parents, so they don't know what it's like to actually have strict parents. So, I created a comedic skit in the sense of one friend is telling the other friend, let's just go to Goa, let's just do this. And the other friend is like, how does he think we can just go to Goa? And it was based on a lot of things like that. So I think that one did really well.
So you always wanted to be an actor. Was this like a plan B for you, being on social media just to be an actor? What was it like?
So when I was young, I wanted to be a football player. I played in a lot of different countries: Spain, Portugal, Austria, Hungary, France, and last in Germany, where I went for 2 months for an integrated program. But I would have to learn German in physics, in history, in the language German, so which was impossible for me. And so then I gave it up because my parents also suggested. They were very supportive, but at the end, And then in 2020, I just had this calling that I want to be on social media. I want to make something of myself. And then from, I think as footballer to randomly social media, and now acting, and I want to stick with that.
So are you taking up any courses or any acting workshops to improve yourself?
Yes. So as I said, I graduated last week. So I go for regular workshops every weekend. I wake up first thing in the morning. I go to the gym. I meditate. I go to the temple after that every single day because I believe if you're not making time for God, then who are you making time for?
So you believe in spirituality?
Very much so.
Very much so. Coming from the Gen Z kind of era, how I like to call it, and spirituality being included in it is like a great thing. So how do you take that? Like, do you do meditations or what is it like?
I do as much as I can to bring my mindset as a successful actor because that will draw the opportunities that I want in my life. I meditate twice a day sometimes if I have time. I script. I do just self-affirmations. Just it sounds crazy, but just looking at myself in the mirror and just positively affirming
Believe
to
in
myself.
manifestations.
Oh, definitely.
You do?
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, it's like it's a different thing because I've never heard of guys following manifestations and being that spiritual. But I think so the younger generation is getting into it.
Probably. I know not a lot of guys are into this, but I don't think so. It's a gender thing. It's just something that piques your interest and something that makes you believe in a higher power, because there is a higher power for sure, as I like to call it, God. And if you're worthy of your blessings, then you will get them.
Of course, for sure. So talking about Diwakar Banerjee, did you have any first impressions about him? Like, oh my God, I'm meeting him. Maybe something would go off with me when I'm acting. What is he gonna react to? You had those things in your mind?
Well, when I looked him up on social media for the first time, when I got this role, I thought he was a bit old and I don't know if he would have too much to talk about. And then I saw him in person and he actually looked very young, like much younger than I thought. So thought, cool, we can talk about something. And I wasn't so nervous after he opened up to me. He was very casual. It's like talking to your friend's father. So it was that kind of an environment. So he made me feel very comfortable. So
is
I'm
he
grateful.
also like in that zone of Gen Zs or he's millennial, like, or in between?
I wouldn't say he's Gen Z at all, but he knows how to keep up conversations with Gen Z. He was very good in that way. And otherwise, I feel like he's a very मतलब जो भी उसको करना है वो वही करेगा. And he just minds his own business, and I like that about him.
Anything that you learned from him on set? Anything specific, or maybe his direction, or maybe with the way he was explaining you things? Anything that you would like to take with you for the rest of your life in terms of learning?
So I guess from what he did with us, it was, as I said, the shoot was happening in a live restaurant. So he actually ordered us food, he ordered us drinks, and he created that kind of an atmosphere on set where everybody was just like friends, and that's what the scene needed in the film. So everybody was happy, and it was just a positive environment to work in. He said, don't stress about your lines, जो भी मन में आ रहा है वही बोल दो. And I said that, and it turned out great.
Because when you're working with a big director, you have this pre-notion कि shit यार पता नहीं कैसा होगा, maybe चिल्लाएगा, क्या बोलेगा, I have no clue what is going to happen. Suddenly it changes when you meet them in person. So how was that reaction?
It was me along with a few other influencers. So I got friendly with them, and then together we approached, let's talk to Sir, let's see how do we get some advice about our future.
So you met him like that day itself on set, or you like had previous meetings?
No, I met him that day on set.
Oh, that might have been like more nerve-wracking. Oh my God, what is happening?
I was just sitting, and then he walks by, and I'm like, respectable man. Something to learn from him before I leave
What
tonight.
was going on in your mind that day when you first went on set? What was that feeling like?
I was just very excited to be part of a film because I'm finally stepping into the field of acting. Whatever the role might be, it's a start, and I just took it very positively because that's what I had to do and that's what I want to do.
And did that add to more additions of friends after that? Because once you get into that zone of getting recognition, people come along that, oh, we know this guy. Did that happen with you? Or maybe the relatives became more nicer towards you?
No, I'm blessed with a very nice and positive family from
Okay.
mom's side, dad's side, so nothing like that with relatives. With friends, I am an extrovert. I have a lot of friends, but in terms of close friends, I just have 2, 3 max. So I don't give extra attention to anyone else because they are giving me more attention. I know who my close ones are, and I'll keep them with me forever.
Great, you're an extrovert, but if I put you in a room with an introvert, what would that day be like? If it's for 24 hours, how would you react? What would be your reactions, and what would you end up doing there? Like, there's no escape, nothing, and you just have that one person for conversations. What would that be like?
Is this person a boy or a girl?
Anything. Maybe if you're comfortable with a girl, it's a girl, or a boy.
I'm comfortable with both. But my history speaks that I'm somewhat drawn to introverted girls because everybody has a type, and I don't even know what's my type, but I'm just
in the process of figuring out, like,
yeah. So far it's been introverted girls, so I don't think so. I would have a problem striking
you
up.
like girls who are like less talkative, into their space, not interfering much, something like that.
A respectable, kind woman who does not just. I don't like obnoxious and loud people. So basically, that's what draws me. Not one that gossips a lot, just keeps it to herself and just mature in that way. That's what I like. But if I was in a room with an introverted guy, then probably after 24 hours he would also become an extrovert. That would be my aim.
Oh, that's lovely. Also, I would want to know more about you. Are you like pursuing like work, career, anything related to education that you want to like proceed further with, or you're just happy like just doing acting and not getting done with your education?
I am a graduate now, so I think that's good enough
You
for
just
now.
want to be done
Yeah.
till there, not like
No, I've majored in economics from NMIMS college, and I can never see myself do anything in the field of economics or anything because I want to be an actor. That's my only goal, and there's nothing else that I'm looking forward to because I
any
want
actor that you look up to that you
Yes.
want to be like.
Ranbir Kapoor. I think
After Animal, or is it
no. I loved Animal despite all the controversial opinions. I loved the acting. I loved everything about the film, but not just after Animal. I think dominantly after, of course, YGHT to thai, but Tamasha. I think it's a very underrated film,
It
and
is a very underrated.
I would love to do a film like
People
Tamasha.
only who can relate to theatre. I'm sure you've done theatre as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you perceive that if you were given that role? Like, how would you like
If I was given the role,
Yeah.
what role?
Ranbir Kapoor's role in Tamasha?
In Tamasha.
Yeah. Would it be like your dream role?
I think it would be in the top 3 dream roles. All the top 3 are Ranbir Kapoor films only. But I think I would love it because it portrays a sense of, don't follow the crowd, do your own thing. That's the kind of person I am. So I would be lucky to get a role which is like my actual personality. It would just make it much easier on set, and I think I would be great at it.
So, do you know the difference between real and real when it comes to acting? Do you have an idea about that?
I definitely have an idea about it, but I'm of course not the greatest actor right now, so I'm still learning, and only with time, experience, and more hard work into the craft of acting will I learn more about what's real, and just understand and grow from there.
So, given a choice of someone is coming up to you and telling you, I'll offer you this amount of money, but the role is not going to be that great. Are you willing to take that up? Or if someone comes to you that the role is amazing, but I won't be offering you much of a money, what would you choose?
I would definitely, without a thought, pick the second one because I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this for the craft. I want to impact people's hearts with my roles. I want people to remember me, remember my character more importantly, so that it can just leave some kind of impact on them. And I just want to do impactful films. I just don't want to do time pass. And I believe Ranbir Kapoor does a lot of these impactful films like Sanju, Rockstar, Tamasha. It's just, I think about them till date, so that's the kind of actor I want to be.
So, if I put you in that spot where I take away all the privileges and you are in Mumbai only, for example, in Andheri or anywhere, and you have been given a choice of limited source of money and everything, and then I give you this option, what would you choose still? Like you're struggling every day. Have you ever been to Aramnagar for auditions?
Maybe, yeah. I guess I have.
Have you seen the vibe and
Yeah, I've seen how it is, and it's a very competitive environment. I won't lie. But if you give me this option, even then, I still think at the core, the kind of person I am, I would still be drawn to doing the more impactful role because I'm in it for that.
how has theatre changed you as a person? Like, what is the transition that has happened in you?
So, since I was very young, I have this, I wouldn't call it a habit. I hate to call it a habit, but I'm mostly late. 5-10 minutes to minimum. So when I started doing theatre, I realized the importance of timing, and if I was late, my sir would fire me, he would threaten me. So I think in a way that taught me how to be very punctual. It taught me how to be very real on camera. It taught me how to be comfortable with watching a lot of people watching you, act live. So with all of that, it just opened me up more as a person.
Talking about Gen Z now, okay? I love that word also, and I love Gen Z nowadays. What are those 3-4 Gen Z lingos that you're well aware of? Any that you can remember?
I guess a lot of Gen Z is just used to using bro, the word bro with anyone and anyone. Like you'll see somebody call
Even
that.
for your partner, like bro.
Yeah.
What's up? Like,
And the girl is like, don't call me bro, don't do that ever again.
don't you think so? If your girlfriend ends up calling you bro, what's up?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Means it's okay. I would understand, but I wouldn't prefer. It's okay, but
Have you ever used any Gen Z lingos? Like, do you know what FOMO is?
of course, my entire mother's side of the family, it just revolves around FOMO.
FOMO, OTP. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's very common these days.
I had to go through some sites and everything to learn what is OTP, what is FOMO,
Oh,
what
God.
is so many of them. It
Yeah.
was very new to me because there are a lot of people that I know they end up using all of this.
Now I am 20 years old, so then the kids that are like 11, 12, 13, they've just got mobile phones. Even I don't know the lingos that they are using. It's just random words, and I just have to figure out what my. I have a cousin sister. She's 12, so she messages me, and I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is she trying to tell me. But yeah,
It's very weird for them to have all the access to all of these things now because as the generation is progressing, it's getting a bit more scarier in terms of social media. Don't you think so?
definitely, I think it's very important for parents to see what their young children are consuming, because I think most of the things on social media, on television, are not diverting us to the right mindset. And while growing up, that's very important because it's the core kind of a person you will be on what you consume. So yeah, I think it's very dangerous, but you can't control it right now. Phones is something that everyone needs, everyone has, no matter how old. Like after you're 12, 13, they start asking their parents for phones. So I don't know how to stop that, but something needs to be done.
Have you dealt with trolls as of now? Anything on your social media?
Yeah, I have, but the first time I experienced heavy trolling was when I went on Twitter and I tweeted something.
What
I
did
can't, I
you-
can't remember what it
did
was.
you- what was that like?
I can't
who
remember.
are you trolled for it? You should be knowing.
I don't remember exactly something, but it was something. I actually don't want to say it. It wasn't that bad though. It wasn't that bad at
What
all.
was it? Like you've been trolled on it now. You might be.
Okay, so fine. I remember. Of course, I remember. It was. I was very young. Okay, I was like 16. I said, as a guy,
You're forgiven. You must.
forgiven. As a guy, there's always going to be another girl. That's it.
Okay.
And this is when I was in Goa. I was in vacation. I was just tweeting
You are
randomly.
living the best life.
I was chilling with my family and I just tweeted it because thodi na my tweets were going viral. It was just tweeting for whoever. And I just did this, and then I wake up the next morning and I see like 1,000 hate messages, and it wasn't even that serious.
Came to fame like I didn't wanted this though. Like,
ऐसा तो नहीं चाहिए था
ये
यार.
नहीं था.
So yeah, but what I meant from that is that if I lose my girlfriend, in today's generation, it's very normal to have a girl best friend.
Yeah. No.
It's normalized, that much I can say.
It is
And-
normalized. Yeah, but it's not. I don't think so. Not my take. Your perspective on that.
Right, now that really depends on person to person, but I have one, so that's why I tweeted it. But I didn't think of it, there's a second girlfriend or anything. Come on, that's not what I thought.
So you were badly told. How did it affect you mentally? Like what? Did you actually thought you might need therapy after that?
No, I've never felt like I need therapy. I just feel like everything is under your control. If your mind can't betray you at any time, especially when you're going through hard times, that's when you need it the most. And if that's when your mind betrays you, then you're finished. So that it only got me stronger. Of course, I was scared. I hope some people don't get extremely mad. Nobody shows up to my building, and I don't know. It was like the
You're
first
too
time.
young for that.
I was too young, so I didn't know what was happening. But then eventually, I just deleted it. And then after that, even my next 5-6 tweets, they were like, "Oh, it's this guy," and so that hate continued for some time. And then I
Did
guess.
they create some memes or something around you? Or did they like send you personal messages on Insta? Oh, this is the guy. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, it did happen, and Twitter is not a very kind place. That's what I would like to say. But I did have people messaging me, hate. But I also did have people messaging me, you don't deserve this. And then I would reply to those people, really, right? I don't deserve it.
Are you still on Twitter?
I am, but I don't use it. I don't
You
post.
don't use it. You're like being very careful about it.
Yeah, it's not. I'm just not interested in tweeting anymore. Forget that. I'm over that.
So, how does social media influence today's relationship on screen and off screen both?
Like personal,
Yeah.
like romantic relationships.
Romantic relationships.
I think the kind of people that take social media very seriously, they think it's very important, my partner has to post me. You have to show the world that she is my girlfriend, so that I know he's going to stay loyal, so that girls won't hit on him. So
But
that's
they still would any which ways.
That's the reality. But then people get this validation, like, he's posted me, she's posted me. So I guess it's a very, it's a fictional world that people take too seriously. And if I was in a relationship and I wanted to post my girlfriend, for the sake of posting her, for the love that I have for her, I would not post her just to show everyone that I have a girlfriend. So I would like to keep it as authentic as I am in real life.
But do you think people find love on social media?
Love on social media.
And how permanent or temporary it would be?
Well, in 2020, I think
2024.
I'm talking 2020 because
Oh.
that was the only way to find love because we were all
Yeah.
trapped in our rooms.
But you had other social media options as well, right?
However, Instagram is, I think, an unsaid, very big dating app in itself. So, I think in 2020, I could say you can find love. You can try to find love, but right now, I think the most ideal way is just to meet in person and figure out the person.
Then what is your take on green flag, red flags? What is that according to you in a girl? Chalo.
From all the experience that I've had,
You've had experiences.
yeah, as I said, few romantic experiences. I would like a girl that, most importantly, she is, she has her own opinion. She's not influenced by others, especially, even if her friends are nice or bad, sometimes the best friends don't end up liking you and you have to deal with
What
that.
is with the best friend tag that people have? What is with that? Like, suppose a guy has a best friend, girl best friend. A boy has like a girl best friend. Like, what is that? Like, do you think that also affects a relationship?
I think so in some ways, but the girl best friend that I have, one, I have, like, you could not even pay me to have romantic feelings for her. So I just know she's that unsaid sister in my life. I think of her in that way. And I think that's the only way and the best way you should have a girl best friend or a boy best friend. Because other than that, I'm not very sure how things would go if you could possibly have romantic relationships for them.
But people are having nowadays.
Sadly, that has also been normalized in today's date, but I would not
How
prefer.
normal would cheating be? Like, what is the stage for cheating? Like, what are the three big no's in a relationship?
Well, cheating is a big no. Open relation.
Cheating, like, if you put it in a way, emotional, mental, or physical, what is it? All three are considered as cheating according to you?
You
or
said emotional, mental.
physical.
What is mental cheating and emotional cheating के बीच में difference?
Mental cheating is like you are with the person, but you're not with the person. Somewhere down the line, you are attracted to someone else, and you are approaching that person, talking to that person. That is mental cheating.
No, I think that's evil. I think all kinds of cheating is evil. Nobody should. That's why I feel like even open relationships are crazy because I don't know how you can be okay with the fact that your partner is sleeping with someone else and you're sleeping with someone else when you have a partner. I just can't stand with that. I believe in old school kind of love.
I'm glad to hear that from you, that you believe in old school love, because it's become very casual nowadays. It's become a very normal thing to switch partners or have multiple partners. Like, what goes inside the mind? Like, don't you think it affects you like in a mental way?
Definitely, some people, it depends on their upbringing, if they've seen their parents do similar things, or even the kind of people you idealize today, the celebrities you idealize, Hollywood, I think it happens a lot, and Bollywood, I think it's much better hidden in Bollywood, but of course I don't know as of now. So I think it's just the kind of information you consume from other people you idealize, so you think it's normal to do it in your life, but it's really not cool.
But somewhere down the line, don't you think these people know that it's not fine and they are guilt-free and fine about it?
Yeah, because you see people you idealize do it, so you're like, if they are doing it, तो मैं तो कर ही सकता हूँ ना. I feel like it plays a big impact, and that's why the audience, I wouldn't say all of the audience, but there's a large part of the population that just enjoys like nonsense drama, just controversial things, just things that gives you like an instant dopamine. You're not actually learning something by watching this, or things like that. So because of this trend, a lot of, I think, this bullshit is in the air, and people are just consuming that information and making it part of their personality, which is wrong.
What do you think about open relationships?
Open relationships are insane. To imagine, even, I mean, seeing your partner do it with somebody else is messed up. But even if you love somebody, you can't sleep with someone else, especially knowing that, you know, she's cool with that. Like, how can you be cool with it? It just means that you don't like me as well. So I just think the whole concept is, I could never understand
There are
it.
people actually who are fine with it, okay with it, and they have this term. We've seen it all. We've seen it everywhere. It happens on TV. Why is that being like, you know, categorized? Ki it's happening here, so it's cool about it. Like we are cool about it, but don't they realize that it's affecting them and the person, and also the person who's gonna come in your life later on?
Right, to tell them, you know, I have been in an open relationship. I think it says a lot about the kind of person you are when you accept. I don't know. I don't want to say it's a bad thing because some people prefer it, but I personally don't believe anything great can come out of that because.
But will you be ever ready, or can you deal with a partner who's coming with their own baggages and trauma and they're not healed with it? Are you willing to help that person get over that trauma, or you would be like, sorry, not me?
Well, 16-year-old me would say yes, of course I can do it. Why not? It's so easy. But when it actually comes into reality, it's not easy. It's so hard to change yourself. Imagine trying to change somebody else. So I would like to be their friend. I believe I'm a very optimistic person. I just like to cheer everybody up. So in that sense, I would be their friend. I would just motivate them to a next crazy level. But romantic relationships, I wouldn't think of until they are completely okay.
We'll go back to social media. Do you think social media can get you good roles in the field of acting, or is it become like a new trend for all the younger generations nowadays? Ki just go on social media and create your content, and someone is gonna see you and pick you up. Do you think it's become a little easier? People don't want to go for auditions. They believe social media is gonna do everything for them. Social media, he PR hai, social media, he manager hai, everything is social media. Do you think so?
I think a lot of people think like that, and you can get roles through social media, definitely. I don't think so, it's a bad thing, but I still believe that I want to be a lead role actor. I want to be a big actor. I don't want to be somebody who's just been picked up from social media. I want to show my real talent to directors, producers, and perform my best work as a lead role actor. So social media may, they see your personality on social media and think, you know, ये ऐसा role कर पाएगा. And you'll just get 1, 2, 3, 4 just mediocre roles, in my opinion. Of course, I don't know. Some people might be getting great roles too, but that's not the path that I want to go with. And I never started creating content with the idea of, you know, getting selected from social media. It was just to create my own profile, gain some followers and some recognition in my field.
So how fair is it for people who are striving hard online and offline auditions, and how easy it is for people to get work from social media in terms of acting? How fair do you think it is?
When I was posting on social media, I didn't get too many acting opportunities, but when I started taking an interest in actual acting, and I just, somehow it's just how the universe works. When you divert your focus, attention goes where energy flows. So I just started attracting these random casting directors, just messaging me. I would put out my work, I would show them what I'm capable of, and then now I have a bunch of casting directors who are in my, you know, I guess radar, and you just keep pitching your work to them, and I think that's a better way of finding work, at least in the stepping stone process. So I think it's better than social media in my opinion.
You never had this thought of becoming a AD first to get into the field of acting, or getting into casting, learning the process of how casting is done, or you directly wanted to just jump into acting?
Well, as impulsive as it might sound, I just wanted to act. I just wanted to be in front of camera. I just wanted to learn my lines. I just wanted to live on set, and I want to do that for the rest of my life. So of course, I'm open to being an AD. I'm open to all of those things right now. Anything that will get me closer to my dream. It's a journey, and you have to enjoy that journey. That's it.
So you've been approached by any casting director, anybody in a very inappropriate way or different way, where you think this is not the right approach? Something like that, if any experience of that sort has happened with you?
I know a lot of people say it's common, but by God's grace, I haven't been.
Nothing of that sort?
Nothing of that sort has ever happened to me. It's always positive and very nice people have approached me.
Ever been approached by the same gender and you have felt very uncomfortable about it?
By the same gender, as in like being hit
approached,
on by a guy. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times on social media, on my DMs, I get.
Social media, right? Or like those.
Yeah, because it's so damn easy to approach anybody on social media. You don't need any real confidence. You just have to send a text and then power off your phone. So yeah, that has happened, but I'm straight, so I don't reply.
Of course, yeah, but like, how does that make you feel? Or you're okay and fine with people and their sexuality? Okay, this person is like that, good for them.
I mean, if somebody is gay and they find me attractive, then naturally they will send out a message to me. So I think it's okay. I mean, what can I do about it? I'm not interested in you. They'll get the hint and just move on with your life. I think it's the problem starts when they get, or anybody gets to pushy about it. Like even if a boy likes a girl or a girl likes a guy, if you get too pushy about it and make the other person feel uncomfortable, that's where you have to draw.
Boundary line that you think a relationship requires?
I think loyalty comes above everything. Honesty, love, everything. If you're loyal, then all of those things will follow. And boundary wise, as I mentioned, I think it's very important that I am her king and she is my queen. That's the mindset that I have when I'm in a relationship, and you treat it as such. Because if things go wrong, which things do go wrong at times, so in that time you're only supposed to confide in your partner. If you need space, you take it on your own. You don't discuss your problems with the entire world, because they're just going to add on more problems. So I would like me a partner who can figure it out with me or herself, and just not speak about it with anyone else.
Will you ever choose love over career?
Not, I don't see myself doing that, but I hope I'm lucky enough to in my career. So yeah.
Because that also happens though, like.
Hota hai, I mean, but I don't think so. I'm too driven towards my passion to be distracted by anybody else.
How important would love be for you? Like,
I think love is like one of the most important things in the world. Sometimes it's, a lot of the times you might have to put it over your career as well. Obviously I'm only 20, so I don't know exactly, but I think I know what love feels like, and that feeling is just incredible. So sometimes when you need to just kick back, relax, and just feel loved and just feel that connection with somebody, so I think it's very, very important.
but don't you think that's fading off nowadays? People are turning more towards lust than love. They don't know the difference between love and lust.
Well, I think they do know the difference between love and lust, but they still choose to pick lust. But I don't think so. That's the right way. It's only going to leave you.
But
It's
isn't
unfulfilled.
that like a temporary kind of a thing? Because again, you're like playing up with your mind, and when you actually go and find that love, you wouldn't feel anything.
Yeah, you'll not be sure, is this lust, is this love? So that's why the same way they say about like a lot of things. If you, how can I say somebody who has a lot of sexual relationships with a lot of different people, say a lot of girls, then when he actually has sex with the woman that he is in love with, he'll be like, nothing special about it, but it is supposed to be special because she's the one you love. So if you keep just sleeping around with everybody else, yeah, that somewhere mentally it's just not going to feel as special as it should be.
So men fall in love in what way? Like physically, or like they genuinely start feeling emotions?
I don't think so. You can just see somebody and start feeling emotions. I think first it all starts with physicality, and every person has a kind of person they're attracted to. Thoda to idea hota hi hai. So I think with that, and then when you start conversing with the person, you see what kind of ideas, beliefs, and just the kind of personality they have, and that's when you just start feeling them out as human beings. Yeah.
Like I've heard from a lot of people, men usually tend to fall for girls who are like in good shape, well built, well maintained. What about the girls who would be on the other way of body shaming? Why wouldn't you choose a girl who's like not that great, like physically in terms of having like a proper figure? What do you think about that? Why would you only go for the girl who's like super hot? Maybe she's not well mentally in terms of intelligence. Maybe the other girl is.
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
I think it all boils down to the kind of person you're attracted to. You think they're attractive, so you think they're attractive. You can't do anything about it. And most importantly, a girl that is in shape, she is in shape because she has a certain mindset. She might be waking up every day. She might be exercising. She might be taking care of her health. So that says a lot about her mental state of being as well. Whereas somebody who's not, who just likes to wake up late, I don't like me a girl who just wakes up late, just wastes her day. I like somebody who's active because that's the kind of person I am. So I'm attracted to that. I have nothing against the other.
Because what do you think about body shaming? How valid is that, or how bad is that for anybody, be it a guy or girl?
I think body shaming anyone is very, it says a lot about you as a person. When you're shaming anyone for anything, it's just your insecurities which you're portraying on them. And I just think so it's wrong, but the right way to, there's no right way to body shame, but you're supposed to inspire the person, and if they still choose to have the body that they have, then you shut up. They want to live like that, and some people are okay with that, so I'm nobody to tell them, or nobody's anybody to tell me. So that's how I approach it.
How was the first audition like?
My first audition was the greatest. I had so much fun, and I am manifesting working with Excel Entertainment. So one of my friend, she works in the casting team, and she sent out to me a role to play Alia Bhatt's younger brother, and my name was Karam in the film, and the film is not releasing now, but I auditioned for the role of her younger brother, and it was like a dream role for me. So I sent out my audition first, and I did it completely wrong. Means I was supposed to read lines, and then there was somebody else, my mother, who had some lines. So I actually took videos of my mother also acting in it, and they were like, "What are you doing?" So then I did that again for like 1-2 days. I got the perfect audition. I sent it to them. They liked it. They called me in their office. I did another audition. Then I asked the friend, what's the update? She said, the movie is not happening. So what can you do about it? But I think that was just God guiding me, showing me my potential. This can happen for you any day. So it keeps me motivated.
How do you manage that, like the low phase?
I keep mentioning God because He's very important in my journey. While developing as a person, while focusing on your career, I think there's this phase that everybody goes through. It's the isolation phase where you can't relate to anyone or anything, even your closest friend, your family member. It's just you on your own, alone, taking on the world. And at that time, all you can rely on is God, is faith, and just work hard and show Him that you're worthy of your desires, and you will get them because He's kind enough.
How long does it take for you to learn lines, or anytime you felt like this is not happening? Like if it's a monologue or something, how much time do you think you require to like prep up for that thing?
So when I was just starting out and I went for an audition, I never took monologues that seriously because I was just starting out, and I just got this audition call. So I was in the office and I got a set of lines, and I was just really struggling to say it. Matlab, bahar, outside the audition room, I was killing it. But then when I went inside, I just felt a little bit nervous, and it was my first time after Excel Entertainment. So I was struggling, but now I've made it a thing to wake up every morning, pick out 2 monologues from different films, from roles that I see myself doing, and practice it every single day, because your dialect and the way you speak and delivery, memory, it's all very important. And yeah.
And how do you think cultural background influences your approach towards acting and storytelling?
Cultural background, you mean the way I've been brought up and everything?
Influences your social media and acting?
I think definitely I am fortunate to have a family that can back me up anytime that I want. So I have the freedom, and I'm lucky enough to pursue my goals without thinking of a backup plan or a plan B. And I just think that because of that comfort, I know at some level that even if things go wrong, I have my family to take care of me, but things are just not going to go wrong because I have God with me.
Of course, and I'm like thinking about it that you're mentioning it so many times, that shows that you are very spiritually aligned in terms of a person, and also it also adds up in your life, like if you are in a certain situation when you think you cannot get out of it, that also helps a lot.
Definitely it does, because who else can you blame if not God? He controls everything, I believe. So sometimes you do.
You believe in angel numbers?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I'm deep into this stuff, I told you.
God.
So yeah, I'm very conscious in that sense. I take everything as a sign. It might be a good thing or a bad thing, but I just think it's God talking to me, and I'm lucky enough to understand those signs, I believe. So I believe in all of those things.
You've ever seen those numbers on your phone and you've been like, okay, this is some sign?
Yeah, I mean, even right now, if you see my phone wallpaper,
11/11?
No, it's not 11/11, but it's a vision board. I have a vision board in my room, and
You believe in vision
you know
boards?
what you see, it subconsciously makes an impact, and I will live that
You
life.
believe in astrology?
Yeah. In college, one day I just sat down with this girl and I said, okay, tell me what my future is going to be like. And I just sat with her for an hour and a half, and she told me everything. And then uske baad I went back home. I was texting her again for another 2 hours, and I would not believe in it as much, but then after what she told me, it really does sound like my future. And I was happy with it. Not just the good parts, also the bad parts. It sounds like me. So I believe in
So,
it.
do you think how relatable it would be in real life? Like, only you would believe if something good happens, right? If an astrologist told you something, ये होने वाला है, and it happens, and you're like, she is the one or he is the one for me. Now, my life direction is going to go as per him. अगर नहीं होता है तो then does it put you off also कि यार it didn't happen?
There's no time frame with astrology. It just will happen, and so you also should know if you're asking the right people. I mean, once I was in Thailand and there was just a man and he was saying, "I'll tell you your future." So I was like, "Okay, tell me." And he was a drunk man. I didn't understand. I was just very young. But then now this girl, she knows her stuff, and I heard from her, and things are going the way she said. So I'm grateful for that, and yeah, I believe.
Have you ever thought of a plan B?
No.
Only acting.
No, yeah, means I have other interests, but I've never really thought of pursuing them because acting is number one for me, and
If I
it's
ever, like, if I tell you to choose between theater and
acting,
acting.
films, movies.
But what is the difference between theater and acting on screen? Like, what is the process like? What difference do you think theater gives you and acting gives you?
I have a lot of appreciation for theater experts because you are actually performing with a lot of rehearsal, a lot of hard work that goes behind that, and you are performing live. Your voice, the way you have to, you have to make sure the light is following correctly on you, and all of those things. I think at some level, it's more difficult than actually acting in big films because you can do retakes and all of that, but theater is like live. You do it right now. It's like this interview, there are no takes, it's just happening in one flow, and that is definitely harder than if we had 100 takes. We could have made it a much better thing, but it wouldn't be as authentic.
But what is the feeling like of being in theater and on stage and performing in front of like a live audience? What is that feeling like? What is that rush that you get?
If you know somebody in the crowd, then for me, I'm all the time thinking, okay, they're seeing me, I have to give my best work. But if it's just strangers, I think of it as let them see my potential, let them see how it is. But if it's my mother, I just want to do the best work for my mom to see so that she's happy seeing me act. But if it's then like big films, then it's much more glorified, and I won't lie, I would love to see myself on the big screen, and that glory is just different, and I would make my parents also more happy. So that's why it's always acting over theater for me. But theater is a very difficult craft.
Difficult craft.
Yeah.
Also, it has a lot to do with voice modulations, and
All of
your
that.
pitch needs to be a certain level.
Definitely.
So, how do you think you can mold and shape that into acting career? Because there you need a certain kind of, clarity, stability, and calmness, composure, different characters. What type of characters would you like to play?
The kind of characters I would like to play is, I think, I would like to be a director's actor because at the end of the day, it's his film, he's creating it. So I would like to do as he says in the most efficient possible way. But the roles that I would like to take up is, as I said, impactful. I would love to play the documentary of somebody really big, a big sportsman, because I've been very interested in sports. As I said, I wanted to pursue football. So just a documentary of somebody who's made it real big in the sports field. And I would like to play the role of a rock star, just a musician, because musician is something, that kind of a dream which will never really happen. But if I would get the opportunity, if I had that kind of a voice to sing and perform, then oh God, that would be the dream life for me as well. So that kind of a role, and just impactful, motivating roles which make people think out of the box and just go after their dreams.
Comfort zone.
Something out of my comfort zone.
What would be that character, that role that would be out of your comfort zone? That's something you would think of, oh, should I do it or should I not?
Maybe a film like Gully Boy. A lot of people might see me in first instance and think that I can't.
Yeah.
But I still believe that I can even take up those roles, even though I'm born in South Bombay. I'm brought up like that. I'm, not born in the Gully Boy kind of situation. But that would be a challenging role which I would love to take up because our population is dominantly that, and it would create the most kind of impact all over the country. So it would also be a dream role in some kind of a way.
Also, there are a lot of Bollywood star kids who have changed that notion of, being from that town side and being like traveling in a AC car and being very sophisticated about it. But Alia has changed that. Ranveer has changed that. Ranveer has changed that perception because you know it restricts your area of acting roles given to you.
Definitely, you have to diversify. I mean, Alia Bhatt, she's doing roles in like Highway and
Yeah.
forgot Darling. I just watched, and then she's also doing like much bigger roles. Like I'm not saying bigger, but I'm saying much more different. Like Rocky Randhawa, क्या था movie का नाम? Rocky Rani की प्रेम कहानी. So it's such different, so much variety, and I think she is the best actress in this country. So a lot to learn from her as well.
Of course, you might very soon, I'm sure. Also, do you think you've learned a lot from theatre in terms of acting, and that can be like an addition to you further in your acting career?
Yes, definitely. But in terms of moral things, emotional things, like as I said, punctuality, confidence, and just doing as the director tells you day after day because it's something you rehearse 100, 200 times. There's no, you don't count how many times you work, you just keep working. So that kind of a mindset, you know, this is the only thing that matters. My performance is key, and that's about it.
Any controversial artist that you really like, or maybe you find their content very funny on social media?
Funny, I love Kanye West. I think a lot of people hate on him for the way he thinks and the things he says, but I think 90% of the things he says, it's just the truth. And the other 10% is his truth. I mean, if he thinks it's true, then it is true for him. We might not agree with it, but just because we don't agree with 10% of a person doesn't mean the other 90 is wrong. So he says a lot of things that's very impactful, that changed my mindset in a lot of ways. So I love him for that.
And from Bollywood, or maybe social media, one controversial person that you really enjoy looking at or following?
Well, on the top of my head, only Kangana Ranaut is coming to my mind of controversial people, but she's now delved into politics, so I don't know too much about politics, so I can't say. But whatever she's done, she stood up for herself. I think it's very brave, and if she has an opinion, she should get to voice it. But I'm not a fan of her or anything. I don't know much about her, so yeah.
What kind of reaction did you receive from your parents, family, extended family when you told them that you're doing this movie? What was their reaction?
Well, I don't think so. This was like even remotely my biggest role, but it was my first role, so they were very positive, very excited about it. They were like, you know, can we come see it? I was like, sure, but I want to do bigger things and I want you to come for that, which you will, but you know, first impression is very important, and I want to give the best impression to my family.
Anything that they thought about when they heard the name of the film? Okay, what are you doing? How
Love, Sex, Dhoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a bit confused. You know, what is your part in this? Like, Love, Sex,
First question
Dhoka.
will be, what is your part?
So then I explained them that it's nothing related to the, you know, the things that they would expect. It was just me playing who I actually am in real life. So then they were like, okay, this sounds interesting, something you would be good at.
When was the last time you cried?
It was a while ago, but yeah, it was just because sometimes when you don't see things going your way, even despite if you working hard on them, it just gets hard to keep faith. But then it's very important to keep that faith. But sometimes you just can't, so you just cry, let it all out in one day, and then you don't cry for another 2 months. At least that's how it is for me.
Have you ever heard it?
You guys are not supposed to cry.
अरे क्या है लड़के थोड़ी रोते हैं यार. Have you ever heard it?
I don't cry around people, so I don't know. But I do cry. I used to cry when I was very young. Every time I would lose a game of badminton or something, break a racket, I had some kind of anger issues when I was small. So that kind of way I would cry and people would console me. But real emotional, I don't cry near people.
I would love to play like a fun segment with you now.
Okay.
If you could play any role in a movie adaptation of a book, which character would you choose?
A book or a movie?
Book or a movie? Any character that you have in your mind you would want to choose?
Well, I have a couple of friends who would say I would play the role of Bunny very well.
From?
YJHD, Ye Jawani Hai
I knew
Diwani.
it was coming somewhere.
It's just the Ranbir Kapoor.
I knew that vibe was coming somewhere. Do you relate to that character? Are you somewhat like Bunny in real life too?
I would like to believe so, and the fact that my friends have said it to me means at some level though I might be. So that's why I think, you know, ये role करने को मिलेगा तो then it'll be
What's the strangest audition that you've ever been to? Yeah.
Oh my god. So there was this, it was for an advertisement, and I have never done any kind of martial arts or karate. So this is, it required me to wear a entire karate outfit, top to bottom, and I wasn't even, I've never done this before. So I had to just get on camera and I had to do some kind of karate moves that I haven't done before. Just weird kind of, movements, and it was really awkward for me. And it was this, and there was some other things bunched up with karate, and I just had no idea what to do. So I winged that one.
You might be remembering that in your core memory somewhere.
Yeah.
Whenever you go for any further auditions.
कि ऐसा ना हो यार, I
Or
hope.
you might be asking them, what is it about?
Yeah, definitely. I need to know what I'm getting myself into.
If you could have a cameo in any TV show, past or present, which show would you be?
Bollywood.
Bollywood or Hollywood? Not any
Um,
Friends.
Friends would be great, but not Friends. I like 2.5 Men a lot. I don't know if you watched it, but
I
it's
have.
you have. I think it's really funny, and I would love to play a cameo in that, or a show like that at least.
If you could bring one fictional character to life to be your best friend, who would that be?
In 12th fail, the girlfriend that Vikrant Massey sir had, I think she was very supportive as a person, and she was very understanding. I just liked her character a lot, so maybe her.
So coming on that, again, what do you think, how important commitment is in a relationship?
Commitment and loyalty goes hand in hand, and commitment is something you have to commit to even when you don't want to. That's what the commitment is, and that's why you can't just run a relationship based on feelings, because sometimes you might not feel the feelings you're supposed to feel, but if you're committed, you're committed. It's like, it's the same for pursuing any goal. You might not want to wake up and do this every day. It's boring, it's monotonous, but you have to, because it's going to lead you somewhere which is going to benefit you in the future.
Do you think money plays a very important role in a relationship? Or you can survive on love?
No, I mean, you can survive on love, but I think money plays a big.
Finally, someone said this.
Definitely. Money is so important. You can enjoy, you have the freedom to do anything you want, whenever you want, however you want with money. So I would not say it's not important. I think it's very important. And if, as a man, I would like to have any amounts of money to spend on my woman just to make her as happy as I can, and just have great experiences together and all of that. So I think it's a big plus.
But I love the fact that you said that love is very important too.
Of course, love is very, उसके बिना तो क्या ही होगा यार.
Don't you also think that you cannot, can you be with someone only on the basis of money and there's no love? How long can you sustain in that relationship?
I would not get myself into that, because it's, if they love me for the person I am and I'm with them for the money, then I would attract some kind of bad karma into my life, because it's purely evil. I don't think so it has any good motives behind it, so I would not get myself into that unless I have any real feelings for that person.
If you could collaborate with any actor or actress living or dead on a project, who would it be?
Ranbir Kapoor. I would love to work with Ranbir Kapoor.
I think you're like constantly manifesting that.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Also, I think nowadays generation, they have no clue about India and its culture and the places that are so beautiful and we can see and visit. They are in that notion of, nahi, let's go out, let's see the world. But first you need to see
It's your own country.
and promote it as well. Ki, you know, come to India, visit it and see it.
Exactly. Like,
That is also a very important thing for today's generation to see.
in like beautiful temples like in Kedarnath and Vaishno Devi, all of those things.
Have you ever been there?
I was going to go for my 21st, for my my girl best friend I told you, her 21st birthday, she went over there, and I was going to go, but then it just became a family trip for her. So maybe on my 21st birthday,
Kedarnath or Vaishno Devi?
Vaishno Devi, Kedarnath, any beautiful site, because I want to do all of them at least once in my life.
If you were given like a superpower to be like invisible for a day, what would you be like, and what would you do?
If I was invisible for a day,
What would you do on that day?
I would probably, I don't know, sadly on the top of my head, rob a bank is coming to my head. So I don't know, that's coming to my head. So I would rob a bank for sure.
And what would you do if you were given one opportunity to read someone's mind? Who would that person be?
One person's mind.
If you could read, you were given that superpower.
Today, if I was given that, I would read, I think, the minds of the politicians who are. The election is happening now, so I would like to see who's going to really benefit my country. So I think I would like to understand that and then just tell the world.
Also, if you could star in a remake of any classic movie, which one would that be?
Remake of any classic. I loved Ae Dil Hai Mushkil. I think it was very close. I think what Karan Johar directed it, so I think it was very close to what he used to do in the past. He tried to make it an iconic movie, and it is an iconic movie, but it just didn't do as well as his previous very big blockbusters. So I think that movie still has so much potential. So I would like to do a remake in a movie like Ae Dil Hai Mushkil.
Great. I love that movie too.
Right.
I actually watched it a lot of times because I really liked the character of Anushka in that. I
Yeah,
don't know,
she was-
some different, and I think it also reflects her personality in real
Right,
life.
right. Even I think so too. It just
It does, somewhere it does.
that's why she was so good at it, no?
And also, when you're acting, you also take your traits into it. You also take a reflection of yourself
Right.
into it completely.
Your personal touch into it, which she did extremely. And even Aishwarya Rai, she was, I think, gorgeous in the film, and everything about her dialogues and delivery and just the way she was speaking those shairis. And of course, Shah Rukh Khan sir's cameo, which came in it, which was also, I think,
But
very
then
interesting.
again, today's generation, they have no clue about shairi. They don't know about poems, poetry. That's another form of love.
Yeah, for one of my, I would never be into poems, but then I was going out with this one girl once, and she happened to like poems, so that's when I got into poetry, and I appreciate it now. That's why I appreciated the shairi that I saw in the film
But you
too.
should include that in your acting part because that also helps a lot to build up characters and to learn more about. There's a lot of intensity, lot of character in poetries and shairis.
I've not discovered that, but yes,
Should.
definitely I will.
Gulzar Saab is like the best.
Yeah, he's
You should
the legend.
see his movies also. You should see his writings and the music that he's created.
Right.
It will
definitely.
teach you a lot as an actor.
I'll keep that in mind.
Also, what would you tell yourself 10 years ahead of this? If you had to tell yourself something. Where do you see yourself?
Where do I see myself in 10 years?
And
I would.
also something that you would tell yourself.
I would tell myself, ki, I'm proud of you for sticking with the plan, for not listening to anybody else other than yourself, and being true to yourself, and just being an amazing person throughout. The more blessings that I have in my life, the more blessings I will be able to give to the other people that I love in my life, and I'm happy that's happened.
It was lovely to have a conversation.
It's lovely
with
having
you.
a conversation with you
Thank
as well.
you. This was Veer. Okay, so please let us know in the comment section below whom do you want us to further interview. Thank you so much. Until next time.
फिल्मों की ताजा खबरें क्यों मिस करना? अभी सब्सक्राइब करो इंडियन फिल्म हिस्ट्री और अंदर की बातें जानो। बॉलीवुड की दुनिया का टिकट बस एक क्लिक दूर।
बॉलीवुड के बिना रह नहीं सकते? फिल्मी शॉर्ट्स ऐप डाउनलोड करें और चलते फिरते मनोरंजन का मजा लें। झटपट, चटपटी और पूरी बॉलीवुड वाली खबरें। फिल्मी शॉर्ट्स ऐप iOS और एंड्रॉइड दोनों पर मौजूद है।
एंटरटेनमेंट की दुनिया में चांस पाने का एक आसान तरीका। फिल्मी जॉब्स ऐप अभी डाउनलोड करें और बॉलीवुड की दुनिया में कदम रखें। अवेलेबल फॉर iOS and Android devices, please download Filmy Jobs app.